Hold the pass! Hold the pass! Hold the pass! Hold pass! Hold pass! Hold pass! Hold pass! Hello guys, how's it going? Screezilla here, I hope you're all well. So today's video is going to be a bit on, well, the Jumbo. Again, I know, I'm playing this tank way too much. But an interesting thing here, we've got a few people basically going to get planes very early on in this game. And, where's our minimap gone? There it is. Most of the people, most of our team are just heading straight towards A. Very few are heading up around this direction to hold off this pass. Hence the hold pass part of this video. What I want to talk about is teamwork here. Now, you need to basically have somebody, a few people holding off the flanks to stop the enemy flanking around and getting behind you. Because if they do that, it's the end of the game. Now, you don't need many people up in these areas. You only need one or two to keep the flanks clean. And that's kind of what happens in this game. There's only about 2 or 3 people that end up coming here, from our team anyway. Now, as you see, I'm switching between the binos and the gun sight quite a lot, just checking out the area. I've actually not played in this section of this new reinvigorated Kimsk map. So this is my first time actually being this way. I usually end up going up around this way these days, because I usually start up around D8. So, first time here. So I spot a Panzer over there. And this is where the game really starts for me. Basically, there is a KV-1 and a Jumbo here. Both of us are going to be able to hold this pass pretty well if we can keep front on. So we've got a Panzer IV. Get the gunner and the commander out straight away. Got another Panzer to the left of him, but we want to take out the closest one first. We've got quite a few Panzer IVs here, and the good thing is they really can't pen us. So I'm trying to get my shot on target, get an ammo hit on that guy. Great. Okay, early game I've got 2 kills. Ricochet here, I'm at quite a bit of distance, and Jaeger there is using the armour to his advantage. Now we've got an 88 flak there, the ginormous flak gun. Now, I'm firing off my ballistic cap shells here at the Panzer, but he's angled really well. So I'm going to switch to my APCR in a second to penetrate the front of his tank. But I wanted to have a round ready for the flak truck as well, because I really want to try and take out that flak truck, because that's the thing that is going to be deadly to me front on. There's a chance that the flak truck can take me out. So they smoke up over there, great move. There's a Panzer to the right that I haven't noticed yet. So I'm keeping my eye on this middle section. I've got an M10 rushing forwards. I'm going to try and spray some machine gun fire over there just to see if I get any hits, just in case that 88's sitting out in the open. But nothing is really there. Keeping an eye on things. Okay, so they've moved from their position, so I'm going to have to move forwards a bit. Go out of the gun view and just looking around, really trying to spot anyone. There's that Panzer, and take him out straight away with the APCR. He moved from a very good defensive position to a poor defensive position, and that was the biggest mistake. If he'd stayed in his position, I don't think I could have done much to him from my current sort of situation. Now, I want to try and flank that flak bus, flak truck. So I'm going to try and get up around him. See a Stug there? I don't really want to be side onto the Stug, because again, that could penetrate me. The Jumbo's got good side armour, but you've got to be a bit careful. And try and take a shot through the front plate, but just miss. I'm leaving myself a little bit exposed here. Not too much though. I've got quite a good defensive position still because that flak truck can't hit me currently. And as long as nobody gets behind me, I'm pretty safe here. But I can see there's a Panzer there, Stug there, another Panzer there, and as I said, there's a flak truck there. So I need to really try and get around this house, and this is going to leave my side very open to attack from the 88. So I try and use this house for protection. Take out the Panzer. Forget about the flak truck. Take out the Stug. But leave my rear open. And my side open a fair bit as well. Now I'm going to try and turn a little bit so I've got at least some angled armour. But the flak truck does get me. So I need to stay behind this house really. Put out that fire. Try and get some front angle on him now. There we go, that's good. Penetrates, but does not do too much damage. Start firing some machine guns. I fire off a HE round as well. Hit him in the gun plate and do bugger all to the guy. Because, you know, War Thunder. Now, I lost sight of one of the Panzers that was around this area, so I'm a bit wary because I'm concerned I might get flanked. Now, I'm basically trying to bait that guy in. We got a T-34 coming in there, and I think he completely misses the flak truck. But now there is somebody between me and that flak truck. There is time to actually do a bit of moving. Now, the trouble with the Jumbo is you've got terrible reverse speed, and luckily the T-34 takes out the flak truck. Finally. So that's my biggest threat gone. On 5 kills, things are looking good for me, but not for the team. As you can see, our team around A are gone. We've got quite a few... We had quite a few people jump into planes and die early game, and that really affected us, and there's still a lot of them left at this stage. We're in big trouble, basically. So, I'm going to use these houses for protection and try and get around this area. Using the environment to my advantage, basically, in this respect. Just because I'm a bit damaged. I'm confident that that Panzer's gone. I must have missed him when he died. But I'm in a position now where I can be front onto the enemy as they advance. Keeping an eye out, because I know that that flank's pretty safe. So it's just these two areas here and here that I have to worry about while that T-34's around. So I see a Panzer off in the distance. See another Panzer there, and another one. I think it's actually no, what's it called? The artillery. Take out that Panzer quickly. I've got a bit of cover here. There's a Wirbelwind as well over there. So I take out the Sturmpanzer, well, try to at least. Again, the trouble with open-top vehicles, the explosive shells do bugger all to them front on, and it's very frustrating sometimes. So I'll fire, try and take it out completely. Good, that's done. Got the Panzer there as well, on 7 kills. The Wirbelwind's going to be firing at me now. Try and snap off a quick shot towards it. But this Panzer I'm not too worried about. It's got the 75mm, I think, so it's dangerous, but I'm more dangerous to it than it is to me. Taking out the gunner, and an easy kill. Now that Wirbelwind's going to be a pain in the bum. And unfortunately I can't really move from this spot now, because I'm sort of stuck defending it. And I can't really see that Wirbelwind either because of the hail of gunfire from it, which is giving away my position as well. Now, the rest of my team are pretty much bollocksed now. And we've lost this game pretty much, which is a real shame. Because things were going pretty well. Now, artillery's pounding us like heck. Got to be a bit careful with the arty. Get the Wirbelwind at last. Take a bit of a breath. So key coming around in a second. Here it comes. Spot it. And quickly get my 50 cal on site and take it out with the 50. And finally, there is another Whirlwind and an M24. I'm getting pounded by artillery here. Managed to hit the Whirlwind, but of course the track armor protects it like a boss, because, you know, track armor. Take out the Whirlwind. And really, I've got to try and get moved around a bit from this position because I'm very much exposed. But I've got to be a bit careful of the Chaffee. I should have, in hindsight, moved around a bit more. Take a good hit, and of course the shell does bugger all. Take out the driver. Second hit is absorbed by the turret. And we'll just pause for a second and switch out, because in the sky above us we have somebody that's very annoyed in an HE-219 coming in and taking us out from above. So all in all, pretty good holding of this position. Now, with me gone, this leaves this area exposed, and A is pretty much dead. The biggest problem really in this game was our team jumped in planes too early. And it cost us the game. Now I'm jumping in a plane, because there's not much point being in a tank right now. We've pretty much lost this game. Even if I jumped in a tank right now, they've got such a big air advantage on us. Unless we take out the HE-219 and the HS-129, we're up shit creek. As you can see, the M10's taken out. Without decent anti-air support, we've got nothing. And we do have anti-air up, but there's not much coming from them. So, we're going to go on plane duty. I'm going to try and hopefully take out a tank with some rockets. I spot a tank here, and then I lose it and spot it again. The M24 there. Just missed my rocket attack. Just a smidgen off, of course. We want to get out of there, and we're going to chase down that duck. But we have not got air supremacy at all here. Well, we have got technically air supremacy, but we really don't have much option. Now this duck, I have to scrub off some speed, but there's a BF-109 coming in. And unfortunately I don't get the plane down in time to shoot him front on. So I've lost my engine now, and I'm just sailing on basically the energy that I had left. Managed to take out the HA-129 at least. So that's something, but unfortunately not much could do in this position, and really that's the end of the game. So the biggest problem here was the fact that our team just was jumping into planes too quickly. Now, as you see, I scored 4,336 points here. 11 kills in tanks, 1 assist in a tank. Only 2 deaths, and 1 kill in a plane. And you think, well, that's a good game all in all. And yeah, it's a pretty good game. Pretty damn good game as well. Now, also, I'll let you know, I was running an experience booster in this. I was running a 30% experience booster for this game. So, now I'm going to show you the end screens. So, if you look here on the end screens, you can see it's not good for our RP. You can see we got more experience in planes than we did in tanks. And it is such a shame. Because, seriously, the amount of RP points you gain in tanks is so piss poor. It's hard to believe sometimes that that's actually what you're getting. And you just think to yourself, well, how is that possible? Like, how do I how do I score so little in tanks than I do in planes? Um, and it's a big problem for ground forces because you can see why people jump into planes more and more for ground forces because they have the opportunity to. You're going to make more credits and you're probably going to make more lions in a plane than you will on than in a tank, and it's rather disheartening all in all. You sort of think, well, what's the point all in all doing this? As you can see from this end screen screenshot that I have, the the amount of RP gain for tanks and planes is really off center. And yes, it's a lower BR plane that I'm researching, but even so, I can research a plane in a couple of, in a less than a day. You can get a plane pretty easily. A couple of games won. Bear in mind, I'd only killed one plane in that game, and only scored 2,837 RP, whereas in tanks I'd scored 56,159 experience points. I had unlocked just the braking system and about 2% of the crew skill part. You can see by the badges I got, a lot of badges there as well. And the lions, again, a fair amount of lions, but compared to the one plane that was destroyed, you got 11,210. 11 tanks destroyed, 16,920 lions. There's a real disparity between the two. Tank battles generally last longer than plane battles as well. You can sort of see how really off this is. It's a big problem and it needs to be fixed because at the moment tanks are very much not worth playing, and it's a real big shame. Yes, I would have got more if we'd won, but even at a loss, 11 kills and such, you still should get a little bit more than what you get here. And it's very problematic. And you also see I'm running a premium account. I'm not running a free-to-play account. If I was running free-to-play, it would almost be half of this. Unlocking the Walker Bulldog I could unlock about 2 to 3 planes in the time it takes me to unlock one tank of the same rank. It's just ridiculous. Unlocking bombers, in a bomber game, I can basically get more research points in a bomber game than I can in a tank game by just bombing a couple of bases. I'll definitely get more lions. On average, with my Lancaster, I can get almost 80,000 lions in a game with just destroying 3 bases. Whereas in tanks, a really hard-fought game, I've only got 51,000 lions, and it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. And with the introduction of rank 6 vehicles coming in soon, it's gonna affect how people play, because do you really want to spend days upon days to unlock a single tank? It's gonna be bloody hard. I don't have any top tier tanks unlocked in the game. I don't have any of the top tanks unlocked, as I say. Let's just head to the hangar quickly and I'll show you. Whereas I've got things like the Hunter unlocked, and I had a much easier time doing that than I did with tanks. For instance, the Italian tech tree, I've unlocked down to the P108B and the C205N2. I did that in a couple of days. It didn't take long at all. But to unlock tanks, it took me hours to unlock anything. The Japanese tree is my actual highest tank tree that I've got at 8.0. And I have both of these unlocked, and most of this was done with gold, in all honesty, because I just got bored unlocking most of the stuff. I used gold to get up to the Chai To, because Sorry, excuse me. I had the Type 6 Heavy anyway, um, but in all honesty, I wasn't going to grind out these horrible tanks, and it still took me forever to unlock up to the SPB1. The Type 74 is taking forever as well, and I really don't know if I'm going to bother with rank 6 because it's just going to be a long slog to get there. The British tech tree as well, I don't have any 5s unlocked. Russia, again, no 5s unlocked because it's just taking me that long. I was working on the Object 906 for a while, and the experience there is from about 5 or 6, no, probably even about 10 games. Just, you don't get enough bang for your buck, and it takes too long to unlock things. The German tech tree I've pretty much given up on because I can't be asked unlocking things. And the American tech tree, well, if it wasn't for the Jumbo, I wouldn't really be playing it because the Jumbo is just fun. But as you can see with the Walker Bulldog, the amount of RP needed for it is a ridiculous amount to what you get. And it just takes too long. If you're a casual player, you don't have a chance to unlock most of this stuff. Which, I'm not a hardcore player, but I will play every day almost. I will play most days, and it still takes me so long to unlock. I've been playing for 2-3 years now and unlocked this amount of tanks. But when it comes to aviation, as you can see, the B-29 I unlocked relatively quickly. It didn't take me that long. With the German tech tree as well, I haven't unlocked all the bombers yet, but it's, again, something that's much easier to unlock. The British tech tree is much healthier for me, with even the Canberra Mark 6 and the Hunter unlocked. I've unlocked all of these jets, and I think I've probably put about the same amount of hours into jets and tanks. Let's have a look-see. Well, probably not the same, actually, because, yeah, I don't play tanks quite as much, but there's still a lot of hours involved in those. As you can see, I've played the Lancaster the most, but with tanks, the Matilda, I had a fair few battles in it, things like that. With actual battles in game, you can sort of see I'm a bomber pilot most of the time, but even with tank vehicles, it's a lot of hours put into the game for not much effort. There we go, that's what I was looking for. For planes, so for bombers, 7 days. I've played a lot of bombers in that regard. The tanks, 4 days, almost 5 days in tanks I've played, all in all, and that's hours added up, accumulative. And you can sort of see that 7 days worth of bombers, I've unlocked pretty much all of the bombers in game, whereas 6 to 7 days in tanks, where I've been playing sort of one specific tree, I've not had the same amount of unlocks. It's just such a hard slog to actually unlock tanks, and it does really affect the fun of the game. So I do hope Gaijin do lower the experience cost of tanks, because it's just painful at the moment, and it puts you off playing them. I'm put off by playing a new tank because, well, when you unlock a tank, you've got to unlock the fire prevention stuff and all of that sort of malarkey. The Walker Bulldog's what I'm currently unlocking, but when I unlock it, then of course I've got to unlock parts, and then horizontal drive or tracks, and then fire prevention, and that's going to take at least 5 to 10 battles to unlock those 3 aspects, which will let me play the tank a little bit more than normally would. And then you've got things like shells. Your basic shell is not going to do a great amount. You have problems in that respect. It really does make tanks a lot less fun to play than planes. Okay guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please like, comment, subscribe, the usual stuff. Let me know in the comments below what you think on the tank grind, and if you think that it is unfair compared to the plane grind, or if you think actually no, it's completely reasonable to have tanks costing that much. Um, as I say, I don't get it myself. When, for example, a plane is so 8.0 plane is what, 12,000 RP, and you can just see tanks are far more expensive in their RP prices. Um, it's just ridiculous how much of a difference there is in that regard. I'm pretty sure I could unlock the jets quicker than I could unlock this row of tanks. Um, yeah, unfortunately, it's very frustrating. And you could say, well, I was playing in a lower tier there, which is absolutely true. But 4.7 is what you could be playing to unlock things like the M4A3 or the M36, for instance. The M36, again, it's the same RP as the Walker Bulldog. It takes the same amount of time. Even unlocking the Walker Bulldog, you could be playing at 4.7 simply because you don't want to play 5.0 because it ups you that little bit too high for your tier. 4.7 is perfectly reasonable to be unlocking this tank, and it shouldn't be that hard to unlock the next tier of tanks. Yeah. Anyway, I'll start rambling on. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time, guys. This is Screezilla out. Bye-bye.